Hello students, in this video I am going to cover the concept of loop current and some basic theorems such as KCL and KVL which are very important to solve the network problems. So first of all we will move towards the concept of loop current. Now on screen one network is present, network A, B, C, D, H, G, F, E, A, and in that network the loops are also present. Now you know the concept of loop. Loop is set of all the branches which forms a closed path. So A, B, F, E, A, B, C, G, F, B and C, D, H, G, C are the three loops in this network. Now as the loops are there, loop elements are also present in each loop. So R1, R2 and V1 are the loop elements for loop 1. R3, R4, R2 are the loop elements in loop 2 and R5, Ix and R4 are the loop elements in loop 3. So when the current passes through each and every element in a particular loop, it is called as loop current. So here we will assume I1 is current in loop 1, I2 in loop 2 and I3 is a current in loop 3. So as three loops are present, three loop currents are also there in that network. Now for common branches, multiple loop currents are associated with it. See here in this network the common branches present like B, F and C, G. These are the common branches in that network. So for example, in branch BF, two currents are present, current I1 and I2. Likewise, for branch CG, two currents are present, I2 and I3. Now, how to find total current in that particular branch? So, whenever the common branch is there, the total current in that common branch is algebraic sum of all the loop currents associated with it or associated with that branch. And hence, if I want to find out current in BF, that is BF, so I am tracing the path from B to F, so it is I1 minus I2. Why it is I1 minus I2? Because I1 is same as that of the traced path. And if I am considering branch CG, so for branch CG it is I2 minus I3. ICG is I2 minus I3. Now again, if I am considering third loop, in that third loop branch DH is present and in that branch IX current source is present. Ix current source is in upward direction, while I3, the loop current 3, is in opposite direction as that of the Ix. So whenever I am considering I3, it is minus Ix because both are in opposite direction. So by assuming such loop currents with proper assigned polarities and by using Kirchhoff's laws, we can easily find the loop currents and hence branch currents in that network as well. So first of all, we'll move towards the basic theorems, that is nothing but Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. So first is Kirchhoff's current law. Now whenever we consider Kirchhoff's current law, it is also called as point law. It states that sum of the currents directed into any junction in a circuit is equal to sum of the currents coming out of the junction. So mathematically we can express as summation of the currents entering the junction is equal to summation of the currents going away from the junction, or we can say it as summation of I at any junction is equal to 0. So algebraic sum of all the currents meeting at junction point is always 0. Now for explanation, we'll consider one junction O, and where four branches are meeting. So current entering the junction are I1 and I2, whereas current leaving the junction are I3 and I4. So as the junction can neither generate nor absorb any current, the total current entering the junction is equal to total current leaving the junction. Okay, so consider the currents now. Here we'll consider the sign for each current. Now current entering into the node we'll consider as positive, whereas current coming out of the node or out of the junction is, we'll consider it as negative. So here the equation becomes I1 plus I2 minus I3 minus I4 is equal to 0, or we can say therefore I1 plus I2 is equal to I3 plus I4. Thus we have proved that summation of I at any junction is equal to 0. Now this KCL is used for obtaining the unknown voltages in given network. Now we'll move towards KVL, that is nothing but Kirchhoff's voltage law. So Kirchhoff's voltage law states that the algebraic sum of voltages around a closed loop in a circuit must be equal to 0. That is nothing but summation of V is equal to 0 around a closed path. Now whenever we consider this KVL, the other statement of KVL is sum of the voltage rises is equal to sum of the voltage drop around a closed loop in a circuit. So we will see what is voltage rise and voltage drop in particular circuit. But before moving towards the potential rise, that is nothing but voltage rise and voltage drop in particular circuit, we will see how to give sign conventions to each element in the particular loop or particular network. So here, because while solving the examples using KVL, it is necessary to assign signs across each resistor. So here two figures are present. In first figure the current is flowing from B to A, and in second figure the current is flowing from A to B. So we will see how to give the sign conventions for each element, like for resistance in figure 1 as well as for resistor in figure 2. Now in first figure the current is flowing from B to A, and as we know that the current always flow from higher potential to lower potential, hence when the current flows from B to A, we'll assign the terminal B as positive and terminal A as negative. And in second figure, as the current flows from A to B, that is nothing but it flows from higher potential to lower potential, and hence the terminal A is marked as positive and terminal B is marked as negative. So this is how we are going to give sign convention. The polarities of the voltage across resistor depends on the direction of the current flowing through it, and therefore the polarities are assigned depending on the current direction. Now we will see what is the potential rise and potential drop, or the voltage rise and voltage drop in particular circuit. Now whenever we consider any closed loop, now we always trace a path in clockwise direction, because we always give the current in clockwise direction. So whenever we are tracing the path in clockwise direction, we'll consider one network A, B, C, D, A. So in this network or in this loop, we'll assign some current to each and every element, and we are going to give sign conventions accordingly according to the flow of current to each and every element. So we are going to trace the path in clockwise direction. The path is A, B, C, D, A. So I1 is a current flowing through R1, I2 is a current flowing through R2, I3 is current flowing through R3, and I4 is a current flowing through R4. Now if a closed loop is there, now when we trace the path and encounter the positive terminal of the source first, then it indicates drop in the potential, or it is called as potential drop. So here, as the current is flowing through R1, current always flow from higher potential to lower potential, and hence whenever we are tracing the path, we encountered the positive terminal of R1 first, and hence it is a potential drop. See, for E1, whenever we are tracing the path in clockwise direction, the negative terminal gets encountered first, and hence it indicates rise in potential. So E1 is rise in potential. Likewise, if you trace the path, the second potential rises E2, because for E2 also the negative sign gets encountered first, and hence here E1 and E2 are the potential rise, whereas R1, R2, R3 and R4 are the potential drop in this network. So while writing the equation, writing the KVL equation, it is we are going to consider potential drops with a negative sign, potential rise with a positive. So here minus I1 R1, this will be our equation, minus I1 R1 plus E1 minus I2 R2 minus I3 R3 minus I4 R4 plus E2 is equal to 0. That is E1 plus E2 is equal to I1 R1 plus I2 R2 plus I3 R3 plus I4 R4. See here, the sign conventions are very much important while solving the KVL. And also whenever we are after giving sign conventions, we have to find out where the potential rise is there and potential drop is present, and according to that we are going to write the equation. So this KVL is generally used to calculate unknown currents in the circuit. Now we'll see how to apply KCL and KVL to solve a particular network. So we'll see one numerical. The numerical is find the value of R using KCL and KVL. In this, one network is present. Network is with 3 resistors, resistance 16, 15 and R ohm. So we have to find out the value of this R ohm. The 180 voltage source is present, 180 volt, and the current which is flowing through R ohm is already given, it is 6 ampere. So we'll see solution step by step wise how to solve this network and find out the value of resistance R. So first step is by using KVL we are going to show the branch currents. So first is, see, the 6 ampere current, 6 ampere current is already flowing through resistance R. Okay, so we are going to give the current which is flowing through 16 ohm, it is I1. Now at node A, this I1 gets divided into two parts. The current gets distributed in 2 branch. So first we have already known the current which is flowing through R ohm resistance, it is 6 ampere. So I1 gets distributed in 2 parts. So we will consider the second branch. The current for second branch is I1 minus 6. Okay, so as we got all the currents which are flowing through each and every branch, now we are going to give sign conventions. Now sign conventions are according to the flow of current. Okay, so as we are tracing the path in clockwise direction, give all the sign conventions so that we can easily get which are the potential rises and potential drops in particular network. Okay, so after giving all the sign conventions, we are going to write KVL. We are going to apply KVL to loop 1 as well as loop 2. So here whenever we are considering equation for loop 1, it is, see, now we are tracing the path in clockwise direction. So first of all, for loop 1 it is 16 ohm. The first element is 16 ohm. So it is minus 16 into I1. The second is, see, the second is minus 15 in bracket I1 minus 6 plus 180 is equal to 0. So there are 2 potential drops in this loop and 1 potential rise, that is nothing but the energy sources potential rise. So it is minus I1 into 16 minus 15 in bracket I1 minus 6 plus 180 is equal to 0. Now by solving this we will get the value of I1. Now we are going to write the equation for loop 2. Now whenever we are tracing the path for loop 2, see, for this loop, whenever we are tracing the path in clockwise direction, for this minus 6 into R is a potential drop, but whenever we are tracing the path for loop 2, it is plus 15 into I1 minus 6, that is nothing but this 15 in bracket I1 minus 6 is the potential rise for loop 2, because in this case the first encountered sign is negative sign and hence it is potential rise for loop 2. Now we'll write the equation. Equation will be minus 6r plus 15 in bracket I1 minus 6 is equal to 0. As we know the value of I1, we can put that value in this equation and we can easily get the value of R. R is equal to 6.774 ohm. So this is how we are going to use KCL. KCL is going to use to show the branch current, and after that we are going to apply KVL equations. By applying KVL equation, we are going to find out current as well as the value of resistance in the network. Now the question is, if current source is present in the network, then what we have to do? So if the current source is present in the network, we are going to do all the distribution of the current by using KCL and by applying or by considering the current source, by considering that current source. But while applying KVL, we are not going to consider that current source, or we are not going to consider that loop in which the current source is present. Okay, so here as the 5 ampere in this example, as the 5 ampere is the current source which is present in the network. This 5 ampere is flowing through the network. This is a total current. Now at node B, this current gets distributed into two parts. So see, we are using this 5 ampere source, 5 ampere current source, and we are applying KCL to find out the current flowing through each and every branch. Okay, so at node B, the current gets distributed into two parts. We'll consider the current flowing through 3 ohm resistance is I1, and hence the current flowing through 1 ohm resistance will be 5 minus 1. Okay, see here in this case it will be 5 minus I1. So as the distribution of current is done by using the current source and by applying KCL, now we are going to apply KVL to write equation. Now we are not going to consider this loop A, B, E, F, E, because in this loop the current source is present. So we are going to apply the KVL only to loop B, C, D, E, B, because in this loop the current source is not there, and we have already assigned the currents to each and every element in this loop, and hence we can easily write the equation by applying KVL. So the equation, loop equation, will be now minus in bracket 5 minus I1. See, this is potential drop. We have given all the sign conventions, and by using all these sign conventions we are writing the KVL equation. So it is minus in bracket 5 minus I1 minus 10 plus I1 into 3 is equal to 0. So as one equation is there, one unknown, so you can easily find out the current I1 is equal to 3.75 ampere. Okay, this is all about the loop current, concept of loop current and KCL KVL theorem. Thank you.